The medical bay doors hissed open as Kaylin stumbled inside, one hand pressed against her ribs. The coughing fit had started during her shift in the cargo bay, and now each breath felt like broken glass in her lungs. She had tried to hide it, tried to push through like she always did, but this time her body had other plans. "You need to see the medic," her supervisor had insisted, practically shoving her toward the medical wing. Kaylin hated showing weakness, especially on a station where humans were still the newest species to join the Galactic Federation. They were being watched, evaluated, judged on every action. Every stumble, every mistake, every sign of fragility was recorded and analyzed by species who had been navigating the stars for millennia before Earth had even invented the wheel. The medical bay was empty except for the soft hum of equipment and the gentle blue glow of the healing pods along the far wall. Kaylin made her way to the nearest examination table and sat down heavily. Another cough ripped through her chest, and she doubled over, trying to muffle the sound. Her vision swam with tears as her body convulsed with the effort of expelling whatever irritant had lodged itself in her respiratory system. That was when she heard it. A small, frightened chirp from somewhere behind the medical cabinet. Kaylin froze, her medical emergency temporarily forgotten. The sound came again, softer this time, almost questioning. She slid off the table and moved slowly toward the cabinet, her movements careful and deliberate. The last thing she wanted was to frighten whatever creature was hiding there. Curled in the narrow space between the cabinet and the wall was a Thrixian cub. The small creature was no bigger than a house cat, its silver blue fur matted and dirty. Large eyes, each the size of a marble and colored like twilight skies, stared up at Kaylin with a mixture of fear and desperation. The cub's breathing was rapid and shallow, and Kaylin could see it trembling. Tiny claws gripped the metal floor as if the cub was trying to make itself even smaller, to disappear entirely into the shadows. "Hey there, little one," Kaylin whispered, crouching down despite the protest from her ribs. "What are you doing here? Are you lost?" The cub pressed itself further into the corner, a low whimper escaping its throat. Kaylin recognized the fear response immediately. She had seen it before in the refugee children back on Earth, those who had lost everything and trusted no one. The same hunched posture, the same desperate need to become invisible, the same trembling that spoke of trauma and terror. Another cough built in her chest, and she tried to suppress it, not wanting to scare the cub further. But her body betrayed her, and the harsh sound erupted from her lungs. She turned her head away, covering her mouth with her arm as her whole body shook with the force of it. The cough seemed to go on forever, each spasm sending sharp pain through her ribs and making her eyes water. When the coughing subsided and Kaylin could breathe again, gasping and exhausted, she expected the cub to have fled. The violent sound should have sent the frightened creature scrambling away to find a better hiding spot. Instead, something remarkable had happened. The cub had gone completely still. Its large eyes were fixed on Kaylin, no longer filled with fear, but with something else entirely. Concern, maybe, or recognition of a fellow creature in pain. The trembling had stopped, replaced by an intense focus that seemed far too mature for such a young creature. Slowly, so slowly that Kaylin barely dared to breathe, the cub crept forward. Its small paws made no sound on the metal floor. Each step was measured, deliberate, as if the cub was approaching something precious and fragile. It stopped just inches from Kaylin, tilted its head as if listening to her labored breathing, and then did something that made Kaylin's heart clench. The cub pressed its small head against Kaylin's chest, right over her heart. Not aggressively, not demanding attention, but gently, protectively, as if the tiny creature was trying to shield Kaylin from whatever was hurting her inside. The warm weight of its small body against her chest was grounding, comforting in a way Kaylin had not expected. Kaylin remained perfectly still, afraid that any movement would break the spell. The cub's fur was soft against her uniform, finer than silk and warmer than she had anticipated. She could feel its rapid heartbeat through the thin fabric, a quick flutter that gradually began to slow as the moments passed. The little thing was still frightened, but it had overcome that fear to offer comfort to a stranger. "You're trying to protect me," Kaylin whispered, wonder coloring her voice. "Aren't you, Vash?" The name came unbidden to her lips, but it felt right somehow. The cub made a soft sound that might have been agreement, a gentle trill that vibrated against Kalen's chest. Its head remained pressed protectively against her, the warmth of its small body seeping through her uniform and easing some of the ache in her ribs. Carefully, moving with infinite slowness, Kalen raised one hand and gently stroked the cub's back. It tensed for a moment, muscles coiling beneath the soft fur, then relaxed under her touch. The trembling gradually subsided completely. Under her palm, Kalen could feel the delicate structure of the cub's spine, the fragile bones that spoke of how young and vulnerable this creature truly was. "Where's your family, little Vash?" Kalen asked softly, continuing the gentle stroking. "How did you end up here all alone? You're too young to be wandering around the station by yourself." As if in answer, another coughing fit seized Kalen. This time, she didn't try to hide it or turn away. The cub remained pressed against her chest through the entire episode, its small body a warm, grounding presence that kept her anchored through the pain. When the coughing finally stopped, leaving Kalen gasping and weak, she realized her eyes were wet. She wasn't sure if it was from the physical strain or from the overwhelming tenderness of this small act of protection. "You're braver than me," she told the cub, her voice hoarse. "I've been trying so hard to hide that I'm sick, to prove that humans can handle anything. But you're just a baby, and you're here trying to take care of me." Vash looked up at her with those impossibly large eyes, and Kalen saw her own pain reflected there. This cub understood loss, understood fear, understood what it meant to be small and vulnerable in a universe that seemed too big and too harsh.